When a grandmother discovers her granddaughter has been trafficked, she must fight against the system and her own fears to save her. In the quiet town of Meadowgrove, nestled between rolling hills and a Whisperston river, Martha Spencer had always known peace. Her life was simple but fulfilling, filled with the love of her family and the warmth of her church community. She was a woman of routine, her days marked by visits to her grandchildren and evenings spent knitting by the fire. But one chilly October morning, her world shattered like a glass figurine tumbling from a shelf. The sun had barely risen when the phone rang, its shrill tone cutting through the calm of her kitchen. Martha answered, her heart pounding with an unnamed dread. The voice on the other end belonged to Detective Harris, a stern man with a kindly face she'd known for years. They needed to talk, he said about her granddaughter Lily. Martha's heart sank. Lily, her beautiful, spirited Lily, who had disappeared 2 weeks ago. The police had been searching, but Martha had held on to hope, believing Lily would return home safely. But Detective Harris's voice held a gravity that tore at her optimism. He asked if she could come down to the station. Martha's hand shook as she hung up the phone. She grabbed her coat and hurried out the door, her mind racing with terrible possibilities. At the police station, Detective Harris led her to a small, stark room. He sat across from her, his face edged with sorrow. Martha braced herself, her heart pounding in her chest. The detective began, his voice gentle but firm. They'd found Lily, she was alive, but she'd been involved in something far darker than they'd imagined. Human trafficking. Martha's world spun. Human trafficking, in their quiet town? It was unthinkable, but the detective's eyes told her it was real. He explained that Lily had been lured away by a man who promised her a modeling career. Instead, she'd been sold into a network of trafficking, forced into a life of horror. Martha's stomach churned. She felt bile rising in her throat, but she pushed it down, focusing on the detective's words. He told her they'd rescued Lily, but she was traumatized, barely speaking. Martha's heart ached for her granddaughter, for the pain she must be enduring. But beneath the anguish, a fire ignited within her, a fierce, protective love that demanded action. She looked at Detective Harris, her eyes blazing with determination. "I want to see her," she said, her voice steady and strong. "I want to help her." The detective nodded, respect in his eyes. He led her to a room where Lily sat, her head down, her shoulders hunched. Martha's heart broke at the sight of her one vibrant granddaughter, now a shadow of herself. She approached slowly, her voice soft but steady. "Lily, sweetheart, it's Grandma." Lily looked up, her eyes filled with tears. "Grandma," she whispered. Martha pulled her into a tight embrace, feeling the girl's body shake with sobs. She held her, stroking her hair, whispering words of love and comfort. As they sat there, Martha made a silent vow she would fight for Lily, fight against the system that had failed her, fight against the fear that threatened to consume them. She would be Lily's shield, her warrior, her voice, and she would not rest until her granddaughter was safe and healed. Martha Spencer, the quiet grandmother from Meadowgrove, was about to embark on the battle of her life, but she was ready, armed with love, determination, and an unbreakable spirit.